Welcome to the Modern Boss, where we get real about the boss experience. I'm Bianca.
And I'm Oksana. And around here, we don't sugarcoat entrepreneurship, okay? We talk about the highs, the lows, and everything in between.
And today we're diving into what every entrepreneur needs, networking.
Yes, but before we jump into that, let's talk about our own highs and lows because we already know entrepreneurship can be a roller coaster, okay?
It really can. It really can. So, what's your high for the week? What's been going on? Tell me.
Okay, so I guess my high for the weekend was going to a Miami mastermind. That was really amazing. So I met a lot of amazing women, doing their thing, moving in business, and some just wanting to get into business. So it was really great. Just to be in that type of environment where like everybody's just pursuing growth and pursuing the same things, and yeah, it was really great.
Yes, it's so important to be in those kind of rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just kind of motivates you to like, okay,
Step it up,
I could do a little more. I could do a little better. That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was my high. What about you?
My high this week is one of my social media posts converted. So like I posted, so yeah, I posted an infographic, which I was like, Bianca, when's the last time you talked about the services that you offer? And I posted it, and like probably within 20 minutes, somebody was on my line, and I was like,
wow.
If I would just speak up.
Right. That's really the hardest part sometimes.
It really
oh my goodness.
It sometimes is the hard, because you're so used to doing the work,
right, that
sometimes you forget to promote yourself. And so, and you also assume that people know what you do.
Yes, that's the part.
You assume that everyone remembers that you are because you're doing it all day. So you're like, of course they know. They don't know.
They have no idea.
So that was my high. So what's something, I know we talk about highs, but we said we don't sugarcoat. So what was your low this week? Is anything making you want to end it all?
Oh my goodness.
Not end it all, but
I had a really good week, to be honest. So
That's
I'm
good.
trying to think. I think my low, it wasn't really a low, but it was kind of just like, like the descension after the event, like getting back into like the everyday grind of things. I was just like, I want to do more of these, like more weekends like this where like, I'm just in great environments with great people. And, so I think it was motivation on one end, like for everything that I want to do differently, going forward. But it was also a reminder, like I'm still not quite where I want to be just yet. So I have to keep pushing myself. So So it wasn't necessarily a low, but it was kind of
like
just
a reflective
like that readjustment back to, everyday life. Yeah.
I get you.
And yours was?
I think on our team meeting this week, I vented to you about a client just not, So that was my low this week. When you are in a retainer model, which I'm in, you can get clients that don't want to pay the retainer after a couple months and just decide to not. And so that's a process, and it doesn't feel great, and so that was my low for the week. It was just like, okay, well, we're here, and now I need to navigate and figure out what's the next steps moving forward. So that's probably, but that's growing pains, I feel. And it's just a part of entrepreneurship, to be honest. Like there's going to be wins and there's going to be losses, and you just have to put out the fire. So
and then just, extract what you can from the experience to make sure that it doesn't repeat itself.
For sure.
So, but so that's real.
Yeah, that's very real. Very real.
That's real.
So do you want to talk about how do you usually, well, you didn't really have too much of a low, but how do you bounce back from a low? Like, how do you come back from?
Sometimes it's just something as simple as taking a nap.
Girl, I took a nap this week too. That nap was so delightful.
Yeah, just taking a break or taking a nap, just regrouping and reminding myself that like Rome was not built in a day.
That part.
Like it's going to take time. It's going to take some steps. It's going to take some consistency to see progress in certain areas or in any area really, and that's where discipline comes in, because there's going to be moments where you don't feel like being an entrepreneur, but discipline says, in spite of how I feel, what I want is more important than my feelings right now. you know, so you keep pushing yourself, you keep showing up, you keep going, and you have to know when to rest and when to just give yourself some grace. I think that's also a big part of it too.
Yes, I think grace is definitely a huge part. And I couple grace with affirmations.
Yeah.
So whenever I do feel low, I have to remind myself, like, I'm built for this, I'm made for this, I wanted this. This is a process that I asked, this is something that I asked for.
Right.
You know, just kind of reassuring myself and telling myself I'm not giving up. So it's either you push through or you don't. So, and don't is not an option. So at this point, get up.
Yeah.
Like the nap was cute. Right? After the nap and after the grace, it's like, okay.
Right.
You're not giving up, so it's time to get back to work. Figure out what's your next best step. And so that's kind of the dialogue that I'm choosing to have with myself more frequently, because it's easy to say the negative things to yourself. So I choose to look at the light and move forward in that direction.
Facts. Yeah, that's real. I mean, that's all you really can do, because staying stuck is not an option.
No.
It can't be an option.
But you know what's really cool is that the highs and lows don't stay very long when you have a great network, right? Because if you think about it, like you said, when you're in a group of women or you're in a group of like-minded professionals or entrepreneurs and they're on the grind despite all odds.
Right.
Right? Because
keeps you motivated.
Yeah, because you don't know what they're going through. You know, and one thing about it is we all know struggle, we all know pain, we all know trauma, that's something we all have in common.
Right.
So we all know that they've gone through something. So when you have that network, it's just important, and it brings you into the right environment to be able to pull up your big girl draws.
Yeah, and just get it done.
Get her done. And so that's why we're talking about that today. Today we're going to be talking about why women entrepreneurs need to network. Why networking in general. So we'll go through a couple of different things talking about, networking and visibility and things of that nature. So I'm excited about it.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
All right. So I guess I'll start this part. Why do we need networking? So I think a lot of times, let's kind of break down some of these preconceived notions that we may have about networking first off, right? Because I think a lot of times when we think about networking, we think about, show up to this random stuffy environment, exchange business cards, have awkward conversations, and then just keep it moving, right? But it doesn't have to be that way. And I don't think networking should be that way, right? And that's one of the reasons why we even have communities like the Boss Collective, right? Because we wanted to kind of get rid of that thought process when it came to networking. So it's not just about showing up and exchanging information or exchanging cards, but networking is literally about, number one, of course, visibility. That's the obvious part, because you have to be out there. People have to see you and know what you do, right? But then also, it's an opportunity to make connections, and those connections can lead to, opportunities or collaborations or access. And you never know. That's the fun part for me. Is like, you never know where a connection is going to lead you. But you have to be willing to kind of just put yourself out there and see where it goes,
Truly.
So what do you think about that?
I believe I agree. You never know what connection is going to lead to what. You never know what opportunity lies behind the next event that you go to.
Right.
So it's always kind of interesting to go to different events, and they're not supposed to be stuffy and awkward, although a lot of them are, like, to be honest, to be real.
Because I've been to some.
Yes, a lot of them, I mean, they're not stuffy, but I would say awkward. I mean, I think sometimes the awkwardness is within.
Yeah.
I know for me, sometimes I get into settings, especially if I don't know many people in those settings, I tend to get into my head and like, very awkward and very weird, and I'm like, I don't want to talk to anybody, I don't want to do that, so there is that. And especially if you're an introvert or something, like those rooms can be kind of hard, but I think that if you look outside yourself and look for the bigger picture, which is growing your business, then you kind of have to make those connections and you have to push yourself to be in those rooms. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mhm.
And I think because of the idea that we're kind of growing out of now as a culture, right, of professionalism meaning like overly polished,
Oh yes.
I think
Thank
that
God.
has definitely played a part in some of my networking experiences, right? Like where people are just trying to present, this overly polished version of themselves. So there's not really like that genuine feel of connection.
Yes.
And I think we kind of talked about this before, like one of those struggles as a business owner where it's like you feel that pressure to always seem like you have it together. But sometimes it's just a matter of just finding something that you can relate to with another person and forming a connection from there. It doesn't have to be like overly professional.
This is true. But have you ever been in a room and you felt like, have you ever gone to a networking event and felt like as a woman you just didn't belong there? Or like you felt like you were overlooked or anything like that?
Maybe overlooked, but that was my fault because I didn't want to be noticed.
Oh, okay.
I kind of just showed up to kind of, just see what it was about.
Yeah, you're like scoping the scene.
Yeah, I didn't really want to like make too much of a fuss of myself at the time. Not the case anymore.
Right.
But, just kind of wanted to check it out, kind of stay a little low key. And like, if I make a connection, I do. If I don't, I don't. But I just wanted to check it out because I had heard about, a certain environment. And I was like, okay, I'll check it out,
Mm-hmm.
So it was like a no pressure thing for me. But yeah, I think that's probably the only time. So I felt overlooked, but because I didn't want to be noticed.
Gotcha. You didn't put any effort to be noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was why.
I think that there's been maybe a couple occasions, I think I've mentioned this before on the pod, that like I started off very young. I started off at 25.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably looked like I was 20 or something, I probably looked like a baby. I'm sure of it. So there's been many times when people were just like, who do you work with? Like, who do you work for? To this day.
Wow.
Do you ever get that at networking?
Who do I work for?
Yeah. I still get that. Like, who are you with? Like, don't get me to curse on this podcast.
No,
But,
I get the what do you do, but not the...
No, I get the who. So who are you with?
I think the only time, and this is why I wear makeup sometimes too. I think I told you this joke before, because whenever I don't wear makeup, people think I'm like so much younger than I am. And so like I'll, put on like a little bit of mascara and like, powder and stuff just to not be as my age. But like, I remember I answered the door once and it was like a salesman or somebody. And he was just like, oh, hi, is your mom home?
Not you being the mother of 3.
I was like, I am the mom. How are you?
Tis the mom. What you
He was
mean?
like, oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
That's crazy. I mean, that's a great compliment to get, though.
It was.
But
I was like,
still,
oh, wow.
I am not a child.
And I'm talking like barefaced, like
Yeah.
at the door. It was hilarious.
Well,
I was just like, wow, is your mom home? That was a new one.
yeah, that's new. I don't think I've gotten that.
And that, yeah, so I get what you mean in that regard, but I've never had that happen in like a networking.
I get that often, actually. It's very interesting to navigate.
At least you look young.
Yes. I mean, I don't know if it's I'm young or I don't know what it is. I'm a woman. I'm, young, melanated. It could be so many different things. So,
Yeah, it could be.
but also I think even in the Central Florida area, there's a lot of businesses, there's a lot of networking where there's representatives of bigger businesses. So for instance, like a lot of companies send out a business analyst or whatever, not business analyst, but like business relations person to networking events. So when you come in as a person that owns the business, it looks a little, you get what I'm saying? So I think that's also a little bit of a disconnect, but yeah, and I don't know if it means that I'm being overlooked or if it's an internal thing again, like where it makes me feel like,
Yeah.
who do I work for? Who do you work for?
That's funny.
So anyway.
So can you think of a challenge that you have faced in business that networking kind of helped you to overcome?
A challenge in business that networking has helped me overcome significantly is presentation. For when I started into entrepreneurship, I was showing up any kind, like I really could care less about how I looked. I would show up to events like disheveled. I do remember significantly that somebody, thank God for community and network. Shout out to my network, but a former client of mine, this is when I really I really had just started, and I showed up to a networking event, and I think my dress was wrinkled, and she was like, "It looks like you rolled out of bed," and in my mind, I was like, "I did."
I did.
I did. I actually just woke up 15 minutes ago. How could you tell?
Wow.
So after receiving like a comment like that, I definitely, take more pride into my appearance. I show up with, business cards. I show up with the proper things, such as like, if I don't have a business card, I have a digital business card.
Right.
If I don't, I have talking points when I'm at different events, things of that nature. So just presentation. I mean, my hair is going to be some sort of kept, or like I'll have makeup on, or, I'll just look like presentable. So that's probably one of the biggest things that I learned early on through networking.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. What about yourself?
For me, it's just actually getting out there and talking to random people.
Yes.
But what I found was interesting is that sometimes like it's easier for me to talk to strangers than people I know.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Depending on who it is.
You mean your business in general, or just about your business?
In general.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. But yeah, I think sometimes like, I guess it depends on what it is, because there's no expectations with a stranger.
This is true.
There's no history, there's no expectations. It's kind of just like, hey, either we click or we don't, So I think in that sense, yeah, it can be a little easier sometimes. But yeah, so I kind of enjoy talking to random people.
That's nice.
Which is interesting. It wasn't always that way, but I think at this point in my life, I do enjoy it more.
Okay.
Than I did before. And that's partially because I was putting myself out there and just talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
sometimes I'll attract people, and other times I'll have to go up and initiate. But, it's just, it's getting easier.
But it does work the muscle. The more that you do it, the more that you find it a little easier to like do it again. And like, if you don't do it often, then it's harder for you to just like go up to somebody. But I think that it applies also in real life. So outside of like a networking event, when you're in public, you have the skills to be like, navigate different situations in life where you could see maybe a conflict or something, but you're just like, you know what, let me tap into my little talking points and skills and see how can I get a discount over here,
Yeah, so I'll just say that it's getting easier. I'll put it that way. Yeah.
That's good.
So, yay, muscle.
Gym girl. Do you think that networking with mixed genders, such as like men and women, rather than something like the Boss Collective where we only network with women, do you feel like they offer different things, or do you like it better, or what?
I don't think it's necessarily a better thing. I just think when it comes to networking with only women, I think there's a different level of understanding. Speaking to people that understand the unique experience that you're having as a woman entrepreneur. I think that's what it is for me. So I like the ability to relate and to encourage and women are, obviously more nurturing. So I feel like in environments where it's predominantly women, it's definitely more of a nurturing and intentional space sometimes than when it's, mixed up. But I do enjoy networking either way, but I think I like the women entrepreneur settings a little bit more, just a little bit more.
I'd agree with you. I do like women networking events a little bit more. Because it feels like you can let your guard down a little bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel as like intimidating.
That's a good point.
Because it's like, hey girl, also, I feel that we tend to have more that we can relate on. Like we can bring up a topic during like a networking event, such as like, why do you feel stuck this week? Or have you ever felt overlooked? And we can immediately be like, oh yeah, well, I have this one,
There was this one time.
Yeah, there was this one time, let me tell you, so like we have relatable stories, relatable backgrounds, but also relatable experiences such as like mothers, wives, girlfriends, sisters, all of that kind of shapes who you are as an entrepreneur.
Right.
And it gives you more of a easier way, or easier segue to start conversation, or
That's true. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, because we are a lot more open sometimes too than men are, because like with men it's very like to the point.
To the point, very business, yes.
But with women it's like, oh, let me tell you about this, and let me do
Right.
that. So yeah.
But I also think that not to go into history, but
Mm-hmm.
we've just now gotten to a point where women business owners, minority business owners, all of this is like a thing now, where it's been traditionally men-owned businesses. And so I think that it's just nice to carve out a space where we can fellowship and network with each other. I love mixed gender business events. I go to them frequently. And I like the way how men do business. I like that they're straightforward and to the point. And if they're going to do business, they're going to do it. Right. And I think that we take those principles into the Boss Collective as well. Mm-hmm. And so we're very big on collaboration, because I do believe men collaborate way better than women. They've been doing it for longer, to be honest, right? So they've been doing it in business. They do it at the golf course. They do it in, it's easy for them to say, oh, bro, like, come over here. We're going to do this together, and we're going to run up this business, and boom, they got this multi-million-dollar business, or, and the face, but you may not know all the other people who are running it. And so those principles and those concepts is something that we choose to bring to the Boss Collective, because I think we are stronger together. But I like both, but I do like what we're building too.
Yeah, those are some really good points. I haven't considered some of those before. Love it. Yes. Okay, so we talked a little bit about why it matters. So let's dig more so into what networking really gives to women entrepreneurs, like outside of just new clients. Like what does it really do for us?
That's true. Because I think like a lot of us are lacking resources, capital, access, and some of us need guidance, like mentors, collaborators, partners. So I think that networking brings those things to the table, to be honest. It gives you the opportunity to explore these things. Now, if you follow up with them.
That's true.
Yes.
To be honest, like this is my personal belief, is that like relationships are the most valuable currency.
I agree.
That you can have. And a wise woman once said to me, doors are not opportunities, doors are people. And so, when you're making these connections and you're building these new relationships, like we said before, you never know where it can lead, because it's a door to something, whether it's to, more clients, whether it's to collaboration, whether it's to another opportunity or referral. Whatever it is, that door leads somewhere. And it may not always be immediate too, which is why it's important, like you said, you were mentioning kind of like following up. It's important to not just start relationships, but nurture those relationships. So that way, over time, even if it's not something that leads to something right now, it can lead to something later.
Truly.
So yeah, I think there's power in that.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I love the power of, and this is just a different aspect of networking, I love the power of social media, because it gives you, and I think I gave you this tip when you went on your conference. I was like, get their social media, follow them, because your content is your nurturing. And I think a lot of people don't see it that way, but it really is truly called social media, right? Like it's to be sociable, it's to show your personality. And so that's why the different types of content is so important, because if you do it right, then you're nurturing relationships with these people. Essentially, if you post every single day that you show up on social media. And so over time, when you post, for instance, this week, when I posted my services, because you've seen me all this time, you're like, oh yeah, now you're reminded of, oh yes, I do want to do business with her, because I've seen what she's been doing, and I trust her, I know her, I just forgot that she did this thing, So I think that nurturing those relationships are super important, and social media is a great tool to do it to the masses.
Yeah. That's a very good point. Okay, so what's a myth about networking that you had to unlearn?
A myth about networking that I had to unlearn. A myth about networking that I had to unlearn. That is a great question. I had to unlearn. Well, I had to unlearn that it was only about business.
Ah, I like that.
I had to unlearn that it was only business all the time, because initially when you're in networking, you think, okay, who's the next connection? Who's my next client? Who's my next lead? But I made some friends from networking. I made a lot of friends, actually. And I had to unlearn, and I think we talked about this earlier, that it's not always just an event. Like, it's not, networking is not only happening event to event. It's happening in regular encounters and regular life as well. So that's those are two things that I had to unlearn. What about yourself?
Okay, I can relate to that because one of the women that actually ended up being one of my partners, my association partners, I met her at a restaurant.
Right.
And we just started talking. It was myself and my husband. So, she introduced herself and we all just started talking and found out that she was, building a business and she was doing XYZ. So we exchanged information, kept in touch, and now we're really good friends. So, you just never know. You got to be willing to share information about yourself, not just your business. And that goes for anywhere, not just the traditional designated settings.
True. So what do you think? I mean, you said that, you have a partner from it, but what do you think outside of money that you've gained from networking?
Access to rooms.
This is true,
that I wouldn't have had probably any other way. And to individuals that I probably wouldn't have had access to. And connections that, like I said, either are blooming now or could potentially bloom down the line. But I think it's a long game. Entrepreneurship is a long game, it's all about planting the right seeds and trusting that at the right time you'll get a harvest from the different seeds that you plant. And so, I just focus on planting seeds and then nurturing those seeds. And then when the time comes, they sprout.
Yes. I totally agree with planting seeds. It's kind of crazy how the more connections and the more relationships you make and things of that nature, the more sprout and harvest that you do get from it. And sometimes it's unexpected and you're like, just navigating and you get a call or an email and you're like, I did meet this person, so it's really cool how that works, how networking can literally become like a connection and a path for you. Through it, I've gotten mentors through networking. Before I was a full-time entrepreneur, I've gotten jobs through networking. I've gotten friendships, I would say, through networking. There's a group of girls that I hang out with, and I met them at a networking event, and
nice.
So I've gotten friendships, I've gotten colleagues, I've gotten mentorships, and honestly, I've gotten a safe space. I've gotten a place where I can go into and talk about an invoice not being paid, and everyone can understand the pain behind what I'm saying.
That relatability.
It's such a relatability. And so that I think is just, you can't put a price on that, or you can't put like anything on that, because it's such an important piece to the atmosphere. Like you need people to understand you, and
for sure,
it's important. So I think that's the biggest thing. I've also gotten ideas. I've also gotten ideas. Yeah, I've gotten inspiration from networking. I mean, to be 100%, this podcast came from networking.
And it.
I mean, we kind of had a little bit of the idea and may have mentioned it to each other. However, through our networking events,
Yeah.
it kept coming up through networking. People were like, you guys should do a podcast. We love it. We love how you guys are talking to each other. Podcast.
Especially when we're doing the Facebook Lives. I think that's when people really started to say it. When they saw like our back and forth and our, banter and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They were just like, oh yeah, you guys should totally do a podcast. Like, this was really great.
So ideas come from networking.
Mm-hmm.
I like networking. Sometimes it's draining, but I like it.
Okay, so now the question becomes, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do we actually network in ways that feel natural and not forced, right? Because we kind of talked about those over-professional environments. So how do we fix that? What do we do about that?
Right, like how do you show up and connect and not feel like a salesman, or how do you...
Because that's so icky. I hate that.
Oh my God, like,
feeling.
I really do not like it. I really hate when I feel like I'm being sold to.
Yeah, it's just like...
It's like, ugh.
Mini barf.
I don't like it.
It's not, no.
So, I mean, the overall thing about networking is to basically come and build relationship. Like, think of it as you're coming into a space to build relationships, not just leave with the next lead or your next whatever. So
exactly.
Consider that.
Yeah, the way I think about it is like focus on connection, because that's what's going to lead to the conversion later.
Right.
So focus on the connection first. It's not about saying that you don't need conversions, but it's just prioritizing connection first. Because I think if you show up with the idea in mind, like I want to make a new connection today, it's a totally different energy than, okay, I need to make a sale. And never ever network from a place of desperation.
Oh, please don't.
Ever.
Yes.
Because people can feel that.
They can feel it. They can feel it. So tell me, what's your go-to conversation starter when you're networking?
So I typically tend to start by like debunking something that's common or that people don't like about networking.
Okay.
So like I'll say something like, I'm not going to ask you what you do because I feel like everybody asks that question. Blah. I'm going to ask you, like, what got you into what you do? Or like, why do you do what you do? And because I'm talking more so about like their why and like the purpose behind what they do. And that leads to deeper and more meaningful conversations for me. So that's one way that I start off conversations sometimes. What about you?
Well, that was pretty impressive, to be honest. Like, I wasn't expecting you to say that. One of my biggest conversation starters is complimenting something on them.
Okay, that's a great way to start.
Yeah.
Like, oh, girl, thank you.
Yeah, so now I've already lowered your
defenses,
your defense, your awkwardness. So now you're like, oh my God, who is this person? But also you remember me because I complimented you.
Come on, flattery.
Yes. I always lead with kindness. So I try to either compliment them or I'll just start random conversation about something that's happening, or like I'll ask them, is this your first time here? To just break the ice. But I mean, as of lately, I have been saying like, what do you do? I hate that though, because I feel like some of the network events that I've been to, that's kind of like been the nature of them. But I really hate starting off with, what do you do?
Yeah.
Like, my name is Bianca. What do you do?
I hate that question.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, no.
Stab me in my eye.
Pass.
Please. Please.
I think another one that I could think of, like if I'm going somewhere by myself and like there's a group of people, because like it can be awkward when you're just walking up to like a group of people and like you don't know them. So sometimes I'm just like, hi, how's everybody doing? This is my first time here and I'm by myself. Do you mind if I join you?
That's a good line.
You know, just kind of slide on in there.
Like, let me join you, actually.
And most of the time people are, they're not going to be jerks. So they'll be like, yeah, sure, why not?
Right.
And then you kind of just fill out the conversation and find your way in. And go from there.
Yeah, I need to get better at that, because sometimes I'll just like linger by a group and I'll be like, you guys, as much as you think I'm an extrovert, it's so funny because I'll get into these environments and I'll just be like, yeah, like, please help me.
It's like all the inner thoughts that happen in those moments, because it's just like, I don't know these people. What do I say?
Right.
What do I do next? Like, is this the moment I go over there? Like, do I, it can be a little intimidating.
But my thought process when I'm in the events is, one, to be honest, I try not to sit by or mingle with people I already know.
Yeah, that's a big one too. You'll get comfortable and not really move around the room.
You'll get comfortable. You'll start talking to them. The 2 hours has passed and you haven't met anybody new. It's a vicious cycle.
Don't do it to yourself.
Don't do it to yourself. I did it almost yesterday. Oh, no. Like I really sat with people I knew, and then I was like, okay. Thankfully, people came up to me. I was like, oh, I didn't even have to go anywhere. This is great. But so one, in my mind, I'm like, okay, you have to meet somebody new. Sometimes I put a number to it. Sometimes I'm like, okay, you have to meet this many new people.
Okay, that's good. Setting goals.
Yeah, so that I know that like if I meet 5 new people, then I can leave. You know, or usually also I don't leave until the event ends.
Right.
So I'm usually not leaving until they're like, okay, everybody, time to go. You know, I don't try to like, unless I'm very like turned off. If I leave an event early, it's because I'm like, this is horrible. I got to go. Yeah.
Okay.
But usually you will notice that I'm the last person at a networking event. Not the last person, but like, I'm leaving with the last people.
Got you. That's good. So you stay the whole time.
Just because sometimes it's better. Sometimes you meet the person, like you have a little connection, like right before you leave the door, you know, like right before. And I think it's kind of like the defense, not the defense, but like now people are kind of like in the groove of like, because sometimes with networking, you get into a groove, which for me, like if I start talking to somebody and now I feel like the energy, then my extrovertedness comes out, right? Okay. Then I can be an extrovert and I'm like, hey, how are you? Da, da, da. You know, like now I'm a people person. But
it starts to flow more seamlessly.
Right, but now you're an hour and a half in and you're about to start leaving. And you just got your flow.
Right.
So
that's a good point.
So sometimes I linger. Yeah, I linger.
Okay. Yeah, I used to do that in music related environments. Like I'd always be like one of the last people to leave just so I could stay afterwards and make connections with other artists and stuff. So yeah, same principle. Okay, cool. So you kind of mentioned this earlier, but like the power of the follow-up when it comes to building and nurturing those relationships. So like one of the things I did, I'll give an example. One of the things I did for the mastermind, anybody that I did not get to talk to personally, thankfully they had, this chat group with everybody in it. So I went through and I like added people to my socials that I didn't get a chance to connect with personally.
Very cool.
And followed up with some of the speakers and, did some of that. And it led to some really nice connections.
Good.
So, so just make sure that you're taking the time to follow up and connect with people even after you leave, because sometimes you don't have a lot of time to really get everything out that you'd like to say or to, express what you want to express. So it definitely helps to make sure that you're following up and, building the relationships outside of just the initial point of contact.
Very true. Following people on social media, I feel like is just a hack. Either whichever social media that you're the most active on, usually Instagram, LinkedIn is obviously great to just connect with them on a professional level. But if you are, active on these platforms, then definitely connect to them on those. I also think that sending a follow-up email, I batch create them. So I have a template already made for networking events that doesn't really have the networking event's name. It just says, hey, it was a pleasure meeting you. It just says it was a pleasure meeting you. Like I would love to, my name is Bianca. I do this, and this. If you ever need me as a resource or if you ever want to brainstorm. So I have like 2 different meeting links that I send them. And I'm like, let's just connect and talk more, whatever the case may be. So that's one of my follow-up strategies. One of the things to help, this is not a follow-up strategy, but during the event, one of the things to help me meet more people, I would ask the person that I just met, hey, who do you think I should meet next? And I'll ask them to introduce me to them. Nice. And so that's an easier way for you to like navigate the crowd, because this person probably just met a new person. So it's like now you have like somebody vouching for you to be like, this is Bianca. This person does such and such. So then you kind of navigate the crowd like that. Like, who do you think I should meet next?
I should meet next. Oh, okay. I'm going to try that.
Okay. It's a good hack. I learned it online. I don't know who taught it, who was saying it. Or you can go to the host and say, hey, like my name is Oksana. I'm a brand architect. This is what I do. Who in the room do you think would benefit from my services? And can you introduce me to them? Nice. And that's kind of like a direct boom, like,
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna use that. I'm like, from now.
But yeah, I've used it a couple times and it's gold. It really is. Because you get more of an open conversation. You get people who are a little bit more laid back.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this now, because I've heard of this. I haven't personally experienced it. I'll preface with that. But a lot of times when we think of like women-only environments, a lot of times, the certain words like, cattiness or competitiveness and things like that can come up. So when it comes to that, right, how do we make sure that we are leading with a collaboration over competition type of approach in those environments?
I have been in I wouldn't say catty, but I would say kind of cliquish.
Ah, okay.
Environments.
A lot of C words: catty, cliquish, competitive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Collaborative.
Okay, so cliquish.
Yes. So I've been in like a cliquey. I've been to a few. How to approach it with a collaboration? I mean, you kind of have to. I think there's a little bit of jealousy in everybody. There's a little bit of competitiveness in everybody, and I think that when you're in these networking environments, you kind of have to leave that bag at the door. You have to go in with an open mind and know that one, you may meet your competitor in this space.
This is true.
It's just I met a few, and sometimes I go into that knowing like, okay, let me not view them only as a competitor, which I know that they are, but let me view them as a potential referral partner, or let me view them as a potential outsource or something where how can I get the benefit from this relationship? And I think maybe that's the mindset that you have to go in to these situations with, but also I'm a part of a leads group, which is basically a group of people who send leads to each other specifically, and it is industry based. So for instance, like there's no other marketing agency in my group. There's no other realtors. Like it's one per industry, per group. Right. And so with that, now I go into networking events with my ears open for others. So I'm not only just networking for myself, but I have more of a listening ear because I know that there's a realtor, there's a mortgage guy, there's an IT guy, there's a financial guy, there's a, designer that I could potentially send a lead to. So I'm not only looking for opportunities for myself, but I'm also open to hearing what that person does, what they share with me. So that has helped me to kind of lead more with collaboration and lead more with just wanting to know more about the person than just what it could benefit me.
Got you.
If that makes sense.
That's actually really good.
Thanks.
Mental note.
I do a lot of networking, girl. Like I network.
know. You're like one of the networking queens.
I network a lot.
I'm over here taking some mental notes like, okay.
Yeah, so it's helpful. I mean, when you go into these events, you meet so many people. It's like I have stacks and stacks and stacks of cards from over the years, So you have to kind of try to find what is the benefit of this relationship. Is it just another follower, or is it is it an organization that you could tap into because maybe your client has something, because you have clients, right? Like that do different events. So maybe you're like, oh, I want to introduce you to such and such, or, so you kind of have to look for, okay, what is the benefit in this particular connection?
Right. Yeah, that's a really good point. I kind of wanted to circle back a little bit and piggyback off of the competition over collaboration aspect of it. One thing I can say about the community that we've built together is I think we've done a really good job of making sure that we set the tone.
Oh, for sure.
Like that's probably one of the reasons why we haven't really experienced that, because the way that we do networking is like so involved and so genuine that there's really no room for anybody to be cliquish or to be catty. Like it's kind of just like, nope, we're putting you out there. You're going to talk to everybody.
You have no opportunity to be cliquish at the Boss Collective
at all,
which is crazy because it's called the Collective, but you don't have the opportunity. You really don't even have the opportunity to stay with who you came with.
No,
to be honest,
we are gonna mix you up.
Like you may sit by her, it's cute, but you're not gonna stay with her.
You're not gonna end up there.
No, and I think that what I really love about the Boss Collective events is that we take the guesswork out of networking.
Yeah, so you don't have to figure out who to talk to and about what and about all that. No, we make it so seamless.
Exactly.
It's just like, okay, all you got to do is show up. We got it from there. We will facilitate the networking experience for you. And all you have to do is just focus on the connection.
Yes.
And that's what makes it so special.
It really does. So we have a mixer coming up, and somebody was asking me, I think they've never been to a mixer. They've never been to a mixer event. They've been to our meetup. And so they were like, so what is the difference? And I was like, when we say mixer,
like we
about to mix. Listen, rotate.
That's the difference.
That's the difference. Like I was like, don't anticipate that you'll be sitting long. And if you are, you will be moving frequently. And they were just like, oh, okay. I was like, no, you'll probably meet every person in the room. Whereas the meetups tend to be smaller. So you still meet almost everybody in the room.
Yeah.
But this in particular, like you may have conversations with them maybe 3 or 4 times.
And good conversations. Because most of the time when it's time to mix it up, everybody's like, oh man.
Yes.
Like, I want to keep going.
I'm like, we cannot be talking all day. We got to keep it going. So yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things that I love. But what do you think would be outside of our events? Because at this point, you should just come to a Boss Collective event or sponsor us to come to your city.
Listen, we can help you with your own networking event.
We would love to. And or conferences or whatever. We can facilitate networking at different conferences as well. Listen. We're your girls. But what advice would you give to a person that's introverted? That is coming to an event that's not ours. Aww. I know. What a tragedy.
That's not ours. What advice would I give? Well, first off, kudos to you for having the courage to even step into the environment, because I know it's not easy.
Beautiful.
What I would say is start off with one person. Just take it one person at a time. Like, don't think about everything and like all the connections. Just find one smiling person to start off with, and just be willing to connect and to ask questions and to figure out who they are and if there is a way that you guys can help each other, and then go from there. That's what I got.
I get you. Yes, catching, and sometimes if they're not smiling, I try to catch the person who I connect like eye contact with. But another point that I would have is to have a intro, like to have kind of like a little spiel of who you are and what you do prepared. So that
you're not nervous. You know
so
what
you're
to
not
say.
Exactly. So that you know what to say when you are having a conversation. So somebody is like, oh, my name is such and such. What do you do? You know exactly what you do and who you serve and what benefit there is to a client.
Like an I help statement.
Yeah, like an elevator pitch, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. I think that's important to have in your back pocket. To drop on them whenever you are starting a conversation. Because to be honest, 90% of the networking events you go to are going to be like, hey, my name is such and such. What do you do?
Right.
And you're just going to have to answer the question.
Yeah, that's kind of how I do it too. Like I start with the I help statement, and then once they ask the question, then I go into the elevator pitch, because now they're asking for more detail.
Exactly.
You know, so yeah, just have your little strategy ready.
Yes,
I like that.
Have you ever been networking and you just didn't connect with the person that was in front of you? Like for instance, like you're talking, but you feel like you're talking to a wall.
I wouldn't say a wall necessarily, but I've been in conversations and I can tell pretty early on, like, yeah, I don't think this is a connection that's going to go anywhere. You know, so not necessarily like a wall, because like people will talk to me, like it's not like, you know. But yeah, I can tell when it's going to be fruitful and when it's not. Pretty early.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you about this one connection that I made.
Story time.
So I didn't make the connection because I was talking to a wall. I had to be.
Oh my goodness.
This person, I don't know, and that's wrong to say, so I'm not going to say that. I'm not sure what was going on. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
But I was having a conversation with the person, and I, you know, once I'm in the groove, then you get my personality. Hey, you know, what's up? Like I'm having a conversation, and it was just like a blank, just distant. Like there was no emotion, no anything.
Wow.
This has happened to me more than once. There's been like probably 2 people that I've ran into, and it's just like the reaction to my conversation was just like blank.
Nothing. It's like, oh, okay.
Right. And so there was one particular guy that I thought maybe it was a fluke. Maybe it was just like the one time that I spoke to him. So I introduced myself to him again at a different event. And I was like, I will never talk to you again. Like, this is the end. Like, this is the end of this for me. And so it's the end of the road, baby. I can't go down anymore with you. I'm scared a little bit.
Oh my God.
So yeah. So there's been a few times when I've like gotten to networking events. And so in those predicaments, I just bow out gracefully. Because you already know I'm like...
Yeah, like exactly. Like when you're in the zone, like you're in the zone, like you're on 10, like, hey!
Yes. And so what's funny is, right, it was exactly like that, which is crazy. And so what's funny, right, is like at this event, I saw a colleague of mine that like I'm familiar with, obviously. And so I saw them talking to that particular person. And when I turned around, I could tell that she was like, help, like,
is anybody here?
Please. She was looking at me, but there was nothing I could do because I had already determined, listen,
I was like, I will not return.
I'm not joining this conversation. You're going to have to exit gracefully too. Like, I don't even think I said anything to exit. I was just like, okay. And then I walked off.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, sometimes you're going to have to figure it out with networking. I mean, you're going to meet so many different personalities. Some are strong, some are fun, some are like kindred spirits, some are standoffish. Like, you just have to always figure out how to navigate all of these different personalities. Some are there just to collect cards for their employer, just because they need to qualify. I mean, they need to meet a quota of how many businesses they talk to. They're not even there to really network.
Wow. And these are all true stories. Like, we have lived this.
This is real life.
Okay.
This is a real deal.
But now I kind of want to get a little more personal, right?
Okay.
Like, and talk about how networking has changed our businesses.
Okay.
Right? So we've talked about the connections and all of that stuff, but now how has it affected our businesses to network more? So I guess I'll start. So for me, I would say, well, let's start with the Boss Collective networking experiences, because for me, the Boss Collective actually pushed me out of my comfort zone a little bit and got me speaking more. Because remember, I did the workshop, and then we did the meetup at the beginning of the year. So that was another time I spoke. So it and then of course the podcast. Now we're speaking
all the time,
all the time now. So it definitely kind of gave me that extra nudge to start speaking more in person. Because like virtual speaking, I could do all day, right?
Yes.
But speaking in person is a different ballgame and requires an entirely different skill set.
It does. It really does.
So, fun fact.
That might be a podcast. Public speaking.
So, yeah, it got me out there. And now, I have a speaking opportunity that's coming up with Esther, actually, because she has a summit coming up. So that's another opportunity that led to another opportunity. And then somebody else just texted me earlier. I haven't even got a chance to get back to her yet about being on a panel.
Look at that. Look at God.
Event. So I'm just like, okay, well, I guess I was on the right track this year with focusing on speaking for the rest of the year, because it looks like opportunities are opening up. And then somebody else texted me today that somebody else introduced me to. And she was like, hey, are you still looking to be on, podcasts and stuff for your book tour that's coming up? I'm like, yeah, what do you have in mind? So she made another connection. She's like, hey, let me introduce you to this person. So yeah, networking comes through. It really does. And the thing is, like, I haven't even put out there that I'm a speaker.
No.
Like that.
But you've spoken.
But I'm getting opportunities. So imagine when I do.
Yes.
So all that to say, like, networking is the thing that can lead to more things.
For sure.
So it's helped my business in that way, where it's giving me more visibility opportunities. Yes. What about you?
Networking, I think, has changed my entire business. I think a pillar of my business is networking. It has to be at all times. I'm always looking for a new opportunity to meet new people.
Right.
Networking has brought me probably the most clients. Networking has brought me the most connections, speaking, panels, interviews. Networking has led me from opportunity to opportunity. Some of the biggest clients that I've had, some of the biggest contracts that I've had have been because I networked with people. So I know the power of networking. I know how effective it can be. I know that your business can change because of networking. Absolutely. And I know that it can be hard sometimes, but to be 100%, like, without it, I don't know how you grow.
Exactly. Because you need people.
You need
people.
Isn't that crazy? You need people.
At the end of the day, you need
people. SZA said that. I need people. It's crazy how that works.
Yep.
Yeah, and your business actually needs people too, because you need like clients and customers, and so that's like important. Apparently, and so
there's that.
So yeah, I'm trying to think of what I haven't gotten through networking. Like I've gotten almost.
We even got a client
through networking. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, everything through networking, to be honest. Like
it's the necessary ingredient to a successful business.
It really is. I can't think of anything that I haven't got through networking.
There you have it.
There you have it, folks. I'm trying to, because you're like, what opportunity have you had? And I'm like,
yeah.
What opportunity haven't I had?
What was your most unexpected opportunity?
Oh, I can tell you this one.
Other than us.
Well, yeah. The Boss Collective in general is an unexpected opportunity.
This was mine.
Because, I mean, and technically that was networking too, quote unquote. It's just a different type of networking. And testament of social media as well. So they found me on social media, and then Oksana and I did a follow-up.
Yeah.
We followed up with each other.
Come on, nurturing.
Come on, nurture the relationship. Hey, nurture. So we nurtured the relationship. We followed up with each other. And then here we are years later with a podcast and a networking group and all the things. So here we are. Now, one of my biggest unexpected one of the biggest things that I didn't expect from networking was a client that I got a couple years ago. So I went to an event, and the event wasn't even I'll put this out here like this. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go networking. I was tired of it. I was tired of people. This was right around the pandemic too. So it was like, well, not like a little bit after. So we were still kind of questioning, like,
right,
are y'all clean or what, So I went to and it was like an award ceremony. It was like So it wasn't even like a typical networking event. I just saw that it was like something where like young professionals were going. So I was like, I'm a young professional, I should go.
Right.
And so I go, and it's literally like an award ceremony for an award that I end up winning this year, actually, which is crazy, the circle back. Anyway. So I go to this event and I meet this woman who turns out that I submitted a proposal to her and her organization probably a year or 2 years prior.
Oh, wow.
But they didn't know that I lived in Kissimmee, because at the time when I submitted the proposal, all of my stuff said Tallahassee because I had just moved here from Tallahassee.
Right.
So like my business address and all the stuff that I was like, everything that was associated with my business said Tallahassee. So they thought I was applying from Tallahassee. And so when I got to this networking event and I introduced myself and I said, my name is Bianca from a creative station, they were like, I know this business. I know who you are. And I'm like, you do? I'm like, how you know me? I don't know you, because like, I remember faces. I'm like, I don't, I'm like, I don't know. So,
wow.
Yeah. So she was like, yeah, I remember receiving your proposal, blah, 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 blah. But I thought you lived in Tallahassee. I was like, no, I had just moved. So I actually live in Kissimmee, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, oh my gosh, we have an opportunity for you. So that opportunity led me to make 6 figures in my business that year.
Hey.
Hallelujah.
Let's go.
And so if I didn't go to that one particular event that I already did not want to go to.
Wow.
So that's how I know there's magic in networking. One client, one event.
Woo. And that's all you need is the right client.
You just need one.
The right connection, just one. And it can change everything.
It changed your life.
The entire trajectory of your life, your year, everything.
It changed my entire year.
I was going to ask you, like, what would have happened, like, had you, skipped a certain event, or you kind of just told me, so I guess I'll share mine. I'll use the mastermind, because the mastermind, it put me kind of like at the forefront of certain people's minds. I think that's probably what it did the most. Because there were people there, and I'm talking about like prestigious people that I was already connected to on Facebook.
Wow.
But we had never spoken.
That's cool.
So, it gave me an opportunity to reach out and to have like a common point for us to talk about. And they were just like, yeah, I didn't even know we were already connected on here, so it was pretty cool. So it kind of just helped to make those connections even stronger, because now we had a reference point for the relationship. Sure. Yeah.
One of the things, and this is something that I didn't get to touch on as far as like a tip, but one of the things that I've learned from my leads group and being a part of Chambers is setting up a one-to-one. So basically it's like a coffee date or a lunch date or something with somebody that you've met from a networking event. And we've implemented it in the Boss Collective, where we're like, set up a coffee date with such and such. Like, it has to be on their calendar before they leave the event, right? And so we have multiple events where we'll do that. But I learned that from like being in my leads group, where we have to set up a one-to-one and a coffee date to learn more about the person that you connected with. Because sometimes it's an instant connection where you're like, oh, I have an opportunity for you, and da 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 da. Or sometimes it's a slow burn, like you said, like we have to nurture the relationship. So sometimes it's important for you to be like, okay, let's meet outside of like business. Let's just go to coffee and just talk. Because like, let me learn more about you and let you learn more about me. And maybe in that conversation, maybe we don't have direct opportunities for each other, but maybe there's something in our network that you can connect me with, right? Or maybe there's something later on, or just to have a safe space to like connect with somebody, right? So it could just be something that you connected with the person now, and in 3 years they're like, remember when we had that coffee and that,
Exactly.
So those are things that I do incorporate with networking, is like, even if it may not be a direct opportunity, I do set up coffee dates or lunch dates with people just to be like, hey, you want to just grab coffee sometime and just chat, you know, and see, you know, if we make a good connection. So that's a great thing to do after events, other than just sending an email.
Right. I like that. I like that a lot.
So consider that. And you can do it virtually too.
Yeah, it would definitely be virtual for me.
Yeah. I like coffee shops though.
Yeah. I'm not going to do in person unless I know it's something that like has, you know, serious potential. But like for other connections, most of the time it's virtual for me. Okay. But yeah, I like that. That's actually really good. I'm going to have to do some more of those.
Yeah, because sometimes you let the connection fall, like after the email and there's no immediate connection, then you let the connection fall. But if you're just like, hey, let's just have like a brief 30-minute coffee chat at, you know, 8:30 before everything gets busy, and I just want to see what you're working on.
Because for me,
let me see how I can support you.
Yeah, for me, it's a business connection call. So like those I do, like if, you know, I'm in the midst of networking with somebody and we want to follow up, or if like, you know, I meet somebody on LinkedIn and they're like, hey, like, you know, I would love to talk more about what we do. I'm like, okay, sure, let's do a business connection call. You know, so I have those, but I think I want to do some more in-person ones. For sure.
They're really nice. So yeah. So if networking can change your business, what can it do for you?
That is the question.
Yes.
So, you know, we like to give you guys a few action steps, some things to actually implement, because it makes no sense to talk about it if we're not going to do anything with the information.
Period.
So, some action steps for women entrepreneurs when it comes to networking. So, I'll give you action step number 1. Attend at least one women-focused networking event this month.
Yes. Okay. Find something.
And if you need a suggestion, Boss Collective. Just saying.
Bing. That would be cool if we had it just like bing.
Right. So that's one option already that you could choose.
Yes.
Or you could find one in your local area.
Facts. Like we talked about earlier, craft your 30-second intro. Know who you serve, what their pain points are, and
the unique way that you do it. That's another one.
The unique way that you do it, and what your solution is, like what solves the problems.
Yeah, and even more specifically, what's the transformation? Like, how's my life going to change as a result from doing business with you? That's a big one. Fair. And try to aim for at least 3 strong connections per event. So at least 3 solid people that you would like to, you know, follow up with or talk more with, learn more about, etc.
And make sure you write them down.
Yeah.
Like I know that like at different events, you tend to meet a lot of people.
It's hard to keep track.
It's hard to keep track of Rolodex. I mean, you may get cards, you may get digital cards. Sometimes if I know that I need to follow up with them, I'll take a screenshot of the digital card so that I know that these are the people that I need to follow up with.
Right.
Or sometimes like as I'm leaving the event, I'll write a list of like, these are the strong connections that I had that said, oh, I need you. That's like the key phrase that you want to hear. Like, oh, I need you. Like, okay. Yeah, you know,
it's like you were looking for me.
You were looking for me. Here I go. So write them down, like keep track of those people. But another thing is the follow-up. The money is in the follow-up. So follow up with them within the next 48 to 72 hours.
I would say 24 to 48, to be honest. Like, because you want to stay top of mind.
Yes.
And if they're anything like you or me, they might be going on to the next event. And then it's even harder to remember who they spoke to and what they did. So the sooner the better.
Yes.
While it's still fresh in their mind.
Yes.
Okay. So
yeah. So what is one of the things that you always prepare before walking into an event?
Well, you mentioned the iHelp statement already, so I won't use that one. One thing I prepare. Sometimes I have to prepare myself, honestly, like just to get in the mindset and in the zone of, okay, I have to interface with people now.
Like a pep talk?
Yeah, like giving myself that little, okay, you got this, you know, like.
I count myself down too.
Yeah, you got to do it sometimes. You know, give yourself that little extra amp before you go in there. What else do I prepare? That's basically it. I just go in and talk.
Yeah. You know what I do? I put my business cards in my pocket.
Okay. I use Blink.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just do the digital one now.
I always put my business card in my pocket or somewhere that I could just like bloop, bloop, bloop. I have thousands of business cards. Well, now I don't have as many, but like I want to order new ones, so I have to give these all out. So
yeah, been there.
So you getting a business card from me.
Okay, so what advice would you give to the woman who maybe says like networking is just not my thing, it's just not for me?
Make it your thing.
Right.
That's the advice. If you think networking is not for you, you got another thing coming, because there's nothing without people. There's nothing without connections. There's nothing without customers and clients. You don't have a business if you don't have clients or customers. So
absolutely.
And you don't want a business where you don't have a network. You don't want, like, it's just not viable.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. There's no way to put it. If you don't want to network, it's just like how, like, we come across a lot of women that are like, I don't want to sell. How you gonna make money?
You have to do it.
How are you gonna make money if you don't network?
Right.
How are you gonna make money if you don't sell? These go hand in hand. Networking, selling, networking, buying, cash, money, deposit, rich.
All goes together. So yeah, you gotta force yourself to make it your thing, because that's the only way your business is gonna grow.
Yeah. And you didn't get into entrepreneurship to stay in the house and be by yourself.
Right.
I hope not. It just doesn't make sense. So yeah, you have to make it your thing. That's the advice that I would give to somebody that says networking is not for me. It just is what it is. So
yeah, I agree with what you said. You just gotta be disciplined enough to say, okay, I'm going to just go out here and give it a try.
Set goals for yourself, like we said. Set your mind on one a month, one a week, one every 2 weeks, and put yourself out there.
And if it helps, if it makes you feel more prepared, like maybe watch some like videos about communication skills.
Yeah.
You know, just so you can feel more prepared and actually have some things in your back pocket ready to use.
We've given you the tools, so.
Now it's up to you. But yeah, okay. So once you take those steps, I think we've given you guys some good, tips and tools that you can use. You take those steps, and the more you do it, like we said earlier, the easier it's going to be, right? So just get out there, do your thing, and then you'll be able to see for yourself just how powerful networking can really be.
Yes. And networking is not about just collecting business cards. It's about making connections and building relationships, and it can really change your business. So if you liked this podcast, we really would love it if you would subscribe to The Modern Boss for more conversations like this. Share this episode with any woman entrepreneur that you think would benefit from these tips. Maybe somebody that's just getting into business, somebody in your circle that needs a little bit of a push, because girl, we all need some motivation. So
yeah, and don't forget to leave us a review and even some comments. Just let us know what you thought about the episode, because reviews really help us to showcase that we could possibly be the right room for other people.
Exactly. So until next time, keep building, keep connecting, keep networking, and showing up like the modern boss that you are.
You got this, ladies. We believe in you.
Bye, guys.